Welcome to the glow, where warmth begins. Nick and Becca, where good vibes win. Pull up a chair and let's get started to business tips with a cool, relaxed view. Fireside chats with Nick and Becca. Business tips where it's at.
Welcome to Nick and Becca's Fireside Chats, brought to you by Tricress. Tricress is the home of the Kick-Ass Culture Coach and Consultant program. Everything every business coach and consultant needs to make them successful. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the sister and brother team who founded Tricress and find out what really makes them tick, what irritates them, and what makes them laugh. Okay. Are we ready?
Yes.
Right, so welcome back to Nick and Becca's Fireside Chats.
Fireside Chats.
After the revelations of last episode. Huge, massive breaking news.
I mean, it's like, if you were of an age, it's like Dallas and the episode we realised that Bobby Ewing was just dreaming.
Spoiler alert.
It's 40 odd years ago, isn't it?
No.
Yeah,
Well,
Dallas is the 80s.
God, that's very
Don't.
depressed.
Just don't.
Do you know what I do? I do a Throwback Friday post on.
Yes, I like those.
They're very popular.
Yeah, I like it.
Do you know what I uncovered this week? It's going to come out. But this will come out after the post I'm going to do. Do you remember Felicity Kendall's Shape Up and Dance?
Have you still got the album?
No, but I was looking up because I wanted
I remember Mum having that.
Exactly, I wanted to do a picture of gym wear from the 80s, so leggings, dodgy leotard, all the rest of it. And as I was searching for it, I thought, do you know what's even better than that? Felicity Kendall's Shape Up and Dance.
Because but lots of women in the public eye did one, didn't they? I think Angela Rippon did also. All these people did them, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Jane Fonda, obviously.
Oh, well, she was the one, wasn't she?
She was the queen of aerobics.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah, I know. So I found an image of it online. I'm going to do a post on that.
That's fabulous.
To throw myself around that. I did it all the time. I used to put that album on at least once a week.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Have you ever seen? You must have seen the Victoria Wood sketch when she's doing step aerobics.
Oh my God, it is the best. It is the absolute best.
When people ask me,
because
people do, I tell them sometimes it comes up, or they see in my bio that I've done stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
They always say, oh, who was your favourite comedian? And I always go, Victoria Wood.
Yeah, she's superb.
She was the funniest person
ever. And
she could write well as well, couldn't she?
Yeah.
Dinner Ladies is fantastic.
She could write, she could sing.
Play the piano.
She was
seriously talented.
So talented. Bolton. Was she from Bolton? From North
Bury.
Or Bury, North Manchester.
Tottington, Rossendale, Bury.
Somewhere like that, yeah. Superb. Went too soon.
Yeah, indeed she did.
Went too soon. Yeah, do you know what's really spooky, Nick?
Halloween?
No. Well, it is, yeah. But today's theme is comedy.
Oh, is that what we're going to do?
Yeah,
comedy?
That's what we're going to do. That's weird that we started talking about that. So, other legends, Billy Connolly, obviously.
Yes.
Very funny. Tells a good tale.
Yeah, he
does. And the other one I really like is Peter Kay.
Peter Kay's good.
And he's North Manchester again.
He's Bolton.
I
think a big thing for comedians that make them funny is their accents.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's why there's always been history, certainly with what old-fashioned stand-up, if you like, more traditional. So many comics from Liverpool.
Yeah.
The Scouse accent just lends itself. And John Bishop carries on that.
Yeah, he does.
Tradition, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Mickey Flanagan with his
Cockney.
Proper, yes.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't really want to say, I find saying this man's name very difficult.
Michael McIntyre. He's not funny. I don't find him funny in the least, but he's hugely popular, Nick.
I know he's hugely popular, but I
Massively.
don't find him funny.
No, me
I find him
neither.
the opposite of funny.
Yeah, I find him very irritating.
He's irritating.
Yeah,
But I think part of that for me is his accent and his manner.
It's too bland.
He is too bland.
Yeah, he's too bland. Yeah, for mine. And maybe that's why so many people like him, because he's very inoffensive.
Well, one of the things that was a real consideration as to whether I should marry Sally was the fact that, and I don't think I've told you this,
No.
one, she's been to see Michael McIntyre live.
Ooh, did she enjoy it? Oh, Nick, that's... yeah, I'd have thought twice about that. Can I fess up about David? When I first met him,
Yeah.
he liked Celine Dion.
God, I nearly snotted then.
I said, he put some on. I went,
Like properly.
yeah, I said, you can get that shite off right away. Because
Celine Dion.
His ex had liked Celine Dion. And I'm like,
You don't know
No,
what my
no.
sister's husband looks like and his lifestyle and what he does and things like that. I can't see those two things together.
No.
How does that even... How was that even a thing?
I think it was a phase. It went hand in hand with that woman he was with at the time. And it's like, we are never having Celine Dion in this house.
No.
I mean, that is P45 material.
Well, she's the vocal equivalent of a grey Nissan Qashqai.
Michael McIntyre.
Grey Nissan Qashqai.
Indeed, yeah.
White Tesla.
They're very bland, aren't they? They're really bland. Saf loved hers, but it was, when I got in, it was like, well, this is dull.
Dreadful.
There's nothing to play with.
No, it's just a big screen.
It's just like, this is really boring.
But what you do get is 10 kilograms of refined cobalt in it.
I don't think we should go down that avenue either.
No, okay. Just go on YouTube and have a look at the documentary about cobalt mining.
La.
Yeah.
Don't go down that avenue.
No. Comedy. I tell you my problem with comedy. Let me start with this. For me, and this is again old school, Morecambe and Wise.
Oh, so funny. So funny. I was watching a clip on Instagram yesterday of Morecambe and Wise, and it's just, I didn't have the sound on. It's just Eric Morecambe's facial expressions are just the best.
You used to do that.
He did for no reason whatsoever. Yeah, superb. And Tommy Cooper. I like Tommy Cooper. Very anarchic.
Some of it's very clever.
Yeah. He died on stage.
So did Eric Morecambe.
Yeah. Everybody thought it was part of the act.
Yes, they did. They literally had to, his feet were sticking out from behind the curtain. They had to pull him through.
Yeah, they thought it was part of the act.
Yeah, he died. But what a way to go.
I know, doing what you love.
Would you like to die doing an NLP course?
Not really, no. I'd like to end my days in a lovely Italian town on the Mediterranean with a glass of rosé in my hand and a bowl of olives, looking out to the sea.
Yeah, okay, that'll do.
That's where I'd like to end my days, surrounded by my family. Hopefully grandchildren by then. But
That's no holiday for them, is it? Oh, we're going to Italy for holidays. Why? Well, we're going to sit round and wait for Grandma to die. Oh, really? Yes, it's what she wanted. How long do we have to sit here?
Could take a while.
Grandma, I think you might have got the timing right. Do you feel... Are you not well? No, I'm fine. Oh. It's just that school starts back in September.
Come on, hurry up, Grandma.
If you're going to go... Because also the wine bill's getting bigger.
Yeah, we're all busy.
Give her a couple of antihistamines. That'll do it.
Some extra wine. She'll be
some
fine.
Nurofen.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's Own will do.
God, yeah, it's true. I don't need like the branded stuff.
Anyway, comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Morecambe Wise, I've read a lot about Eric Morecambe. So the person who is in charge of his legacy and his archive is Gary Morecambe.
His son?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Adopted son.
Okay.
So I've read a lot of stuff about Eric Morecambe over the years, and of course they got together, him and Ernie Wise, when they were very, very young.
Yeah, they were.
Really young. And they didn't succeed at first on television. They were an absolute flop.
Right.
Yeah, they were a disaster.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were a disaster. But then they got a second chance and it worked. But the thing about them is that they completely, totally rehearsed.
Right.
They were famous for their Christmas specials.
Yeah, they were.
And one of their Christmas specials, they always used to do a play, didn't they?
A play.
And one is Cyrano de Bergerac.
Yeah.
Okay, and Penelope Keith was in that.
Right.
In the Christmas special. And there's a scene in this where Eric Morecambe, as Cyrano de Bergerac, pinches her backside.
Right.
And she goes, "Oh," like that, right? And it's for, when you see it, you just think it's an impromptu kind of improv kind of, I'm just going to pinch her backside. And I've heard an interview with Penelope Keith, and she said we rehearsed that time and time and time again to get it just right. Yes.
Wow.
But that's the performer, isn't it? It's the performer is actually it, so it looks effortless.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
My problem, going back to, is that I find it very difficult to go and watch comedians because I've done it, and so I analyse it.
Yeah.
I can't relax.
I get that.
And I once met a woman who was a DJ. It was her kind of part-time, it was her thing that she was a DJ in clubs. And she said, but being a DJ, she said, has ruined going to clubs for me. Because if I go to a club, I'm just analysing the set and going, well, I wouldn't have done that with that, and you should have put that track next. And you could. So it takes you. So I don't know whether actors don't go and see plays because they just are analysing.
I don't know. Once you know behind the scenes.
Yes.
It does ruin the magic.
Which is why I'm exempt from jury service.
Are you?
Yes, as a qualified lawyer, you're exempt.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I was called up for jury service in Scotland before I left.
Right.
And I had to show them my professional qualification because I know too much.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but it's good because because if I tell you what, if you're self-employed and you go, we're back on flashing.
Jury service, you're just saying you
Yes.
can't do it because I don't know where that ended. Jury service because you're a qualified lawyer.
Yes.
And when you're saying self-employed, you can't do it because you don't earn any money. They've asked me a few times, and each time I have to say, no, I'm self-employed. I can't give up.
No, indeed.
Work.
No.
Because I don't get
I won't
paid.
earn any money.
Won't
That's
earn
right.
any money. And I feel really bad because I actually think it's my duty as a citizen.
Agreed.
To do it.
Yes.
But I think the allowance is only 60 quid a day. I'm like, I can't really live off that, to be honest.
No.
So, yeah, I think when I'm retired, I will...
You just hang around in courtrooms.
Well, they probably won't ask me. That'll be the irony. It's like the very time...
It'll all be done by AI then.
God.
You just be judged at home. Don't you?
By a bot.
Alexa will be listening in. Your phone's listening anyway, and you'll just be judged at home.
Yeah, that's not really funny, is it? Though we're talking about comedy.
No, it's not funny.
No.
Comedy can be used in the most. It's interesting. There are cultural differences in comedy. One of my favourite books, and I think you've read it. It's a non-fiction. It's by Kate Fox called "Watching the English." Have you read?
No, I've not read
It's
that.
fantastic. So Kate Fox is a social anthropologist, and she says at the beginning of her book, most people who study social anthropology go off and find some remote tribe somewhere and study them. She said, but I wanted to study the tribe of which I am a member, she said, which is the English. So it's fascinating because she says, I've spent my entire life eavesdropping on conversations and making notes and observing
Best job in the world.
Yeah, incredible. But she has an entire chapter devoted to humour. and there are rules in England. She can only call it. She calls it watching the English because she did all her research in England.
Right. Okay.
But as you've lived in Scotland for many years, I lived in Scotland for 22 years. She could call it watching the British,
Yeah, she
really.
could, yeah.
But she only did her research
Yeah.
in England. So there's an entire chapter on humour, and one of the things she says is that humour in, and let's say, I'm going to say Great Britain now. In some cultures, there is a time and a place for humour.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speak in general terms rather than absolutes here.
Okay.
Having done work in Germany and spoke to Germans many times, is that, so German people, Swiss people I'm going to say as well, because Sally lived and worked in Switzerland for 6 months.
Right. Okay.
Is, right, during work time, you do work. After work, that's when you can be humorous.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Whereas in our country, what Kate Fox says, and she's quite right, is that humour is just bubbling under the surface of everything in Great Britain all the time.
All the time.
So people can be at work and then suddenly somebody will say something and then there's laughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she gives an extreme example of how British people will use humour in the most tragic of circumstances.
Oh God, yeah, definitely.
And she interviewed some people who had survived the 7/7 bombing. So on the 7th of July 2005, there were multiple tube bombings, weren't there? And a bus in Tavistock Square. And it was the day after London had found out that it had won the 2012 Olympic Games.
Oh, crikey.
It was the day after.
Very mixed emotions.
That's right. So on the 6th of July, there was lots of celebrations.
Yeah.
Well, and into the 7th. And then on the 7th, there were these bombings. Crikey. So the background is that everyone thought that Paris was going to get the Olympic Games.
They did. Yeah,
they were in the bag.
Yeah,
Paris
they did.
had the games in the bag. It was just like, they're going to have these in the bag.
It was good to get one over on the French.
Yes. We have done that quite a lot of times.
Let's not mention Agincourt. Anyway, carry on.
No, or Waterloo.
No.
So, she had spoken to people who had been actually on the tube in that bombing.
Right.
And some guy overheard another guy. So there they are in a bombed tube.
Yeah.
Right. And some guy, and this is so British, said, just because the French didn't win the bloody Olympic Games, there's no need for this. Right?
God.
Now, that's in a dark, horrific moment.
It is.
But there's humour.
It's the sort of thing you'd have said.
Yes.
That's why, because you started life as a health and safety lawyer, and you always said that one of the reasons you couldn't do it is because you would turn up where there was a serious industrial accident, death included, and you would just want to tell jokes.
Yes.
And you can't really do that.
No. No.
But you have to laugh.
There was a chap that had died in a chemical plant by inhaling cyanide.
Oh, Jesus.
Vapour. Fascinating thing, talking to the medical expert, who said he would have been dead by the time he was 45 degrees to the floor.
No.
That's how quickly cyanide kills you.
Crikey, O'Reilly.
It just shuts down everything instantaneously.
My God. Gosh.
The tragic thing about it.
If you haven't worked out by now, Nick and Becca, Rebecca and Nick, to use their posh Sunday names, are really passionate about building businesses, giving business coaches and consultants out there everything they need to succeed. Yeah, we have a laugh about it. It's not brain surgery. Join us, find out more at tricrest.com, TRICRES. Back to the podcast. Just had to change the battery there.
Yeah,
so carry on, Nick, with your story.
Breathing on cyanide.
Yeah, not good.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And it was about 10 days before Christmas.
Right.
And my immediate thought was, I hope his wife's not bought him a Christmas present. And if she had, she's kept the receipt. And you can't say things
Can't
like
say that. No, you can't say that. No.
But that was my immediate thought.
But they say, you know, police officers who are working on the most horrific crimes, they have this gallows, they call it gallows humour.
Indeed.
Because in the darkest situations, they have to laugh. Psychologists have done studies on it and said it's a really great mechanism to stay sane.
Yes, indeed.
Because if you're dealing with all those kinds of horrific tragedy, evil, all kinds of nasty things, you have to have a protection mechanism. And the theory is that if you don't laugh about it and you don't have that dark humour, it's really bad for you.
Yeah, it eats away at you.
Yeah,
I get
you've
that.
got to release it.
I get that.
And yeah, I have a very dark sense of humour, which is why I don't like Michael McIntyre either, because I just think he's like, to me, he's like Pap. No, like,
he's like the John Lewis of comedy.
Well, no,
or Marks and Spencer's
more
of
Marks and Spencer's,
like
really.
Marks and Spencer's
really
of
is.
comedy.
Yeah, he's a safe pair of Marks and Spencer's knickers, isn't he? Let's face
Tremendous self-belief, though.
Yeah.
Now, because he I heard sort of, when I did comedy, as you know, on and off for 10 years, I got speaking to some comedians, and I can't remember who it was, but it said, we were talking about Michael McIntyre and we agreed that he wasn't funny, but the guy said, but tremendous self-confidence.
Right, okay.
And when he was just starting out, this guy who'd been on the circuit for quite a while, Michael McIntyre had just started out, and he came to this guy, he said, what do you think of my act? What do you think of my act? And he said, well, so the experienced comedian said, well, I think this is good. You think this is good? He said, I know that already. He said, I know that already. I know that's really good.
All right. Okay.
So what else? What else?
Right.
And this other comedian was like, oh, bloody hell, that's serious self-confidence.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And having done it, you absolutely have to have that.
Yeah, you do. God,
and I didn't have that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I didn't have that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, my last gig, I think, was 2014 on my birthday, on the 7th of June 2014. And it was a Sunday, and Sundays are always difficult days for comedy.
God, I can imagine.
And I did the thing that you are just never, ever, ever supposed to do, in that I think it was a 10-minute set, and I was 3 minutes in, and I just put the microphone back in the stand and said, I'm not doing this anymore, and walked off and then walked out of the club.
Oh my God. Gosh, that was quite a brave thing to do, Nick.
And I've never been back.
Okay, well.
I just found it too stressful.
Right, and there's no point in doing that.
No, that's right. It's too it's very stressful. I once what's his name? Jim Bowen, who used to do Bullseye, which they're bringing back.
No.
Yes, and they're bringing it back with, I think I'm right in saying this, with the cricket man who used to be on Top Gear, Andrew Flintoff.
Yeah,
I think he's doing it.
Oh, he'll be good at it.
Yes, so they're doing Bullseye.
Will they have a boat as a prize?
Bound to.
Because nobody's going to use that.
I met him.
Yeah.
Okay. I met Jim Bowen, and he'd done an autobiography, and he signed it for me. And I said, look, I'm getting into stand-up comedy and blah 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 blah. I'm doing this. And he said, look, he said, my advice to you, Nick, he said, just keep it as a hobby, keep it as a pastime. Right. He said, because as soon as you make this your living, it's seriously stressful, because each gig, if it doesn't go well, you're thinking, I'm not going to earn any money. He said, if your life depends on this, it brings another level. And I totally admire, even though I don't think he's funny, but Michael McIntyre or John Bishop or whoever you said, what's his name, from Bolton? Yeah,
Peter Kay.
Peter Kay. I mean, they've become multimillionaires.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais.
Yes, multimillionaires in doing this. I mean, good luck to you. I mean, it takes a certain type.
Yeah, they're all mavericks. I think, you know, even the Michael McIntyres of this world, in his self-confidence, that's quite a maverick thing. John Bishop was a maverick. he was shit or bust. He gave up a really good job, didn't he?
Well, his wife, I think he'd split up from his wife.
He had.
And so had a lot of evenings just on his own. He thought, well, I'll just go to the comedy club. He started doing some, and then it really brought him alive. And his wife fell back in love with him. And, oh, God, you're right. Now you're the guy that... He'd just become a boring sod.
Yeah. So for some people, that's not stressful. It's them being them. And them being more of them than trying to fit into something in the corporate world or whatever.
Whereas for me, as you know, it's training. That's my level.
Yeah. You're still performing.
Yes, I'm still... I tick that box.
Yeah.
I tick that box. And I get a little bit nervited, but I don't have the complete stress.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't stress me out
to
stand up in front of 350 people.
No. Whereas my thing, I can stand up in front of...
I
can do it and I'm fine. I prefer to write.
Yeah.
I prefer to write, and I don't mind if people critique my writing. I don't mind it being out there. That's absolutely fine. But some people are terrified of doing that.
Are they?
Yeah, really scared of writing some...
We've both written books and we've just written a joint book.
Yeah, we have, yeah. I was, I've got to put it together, the deadline's the end of November.
Yes, all that.
And I was rereading some of it, because obviously I've got to go back through and check it. And it is quite funny.
Is it?
Yeah, it is quite funny.
That's good.
It is actually it's about selling. It's about for coaches and advisors and consultants on how to sell, because a lot of them are really bad at it.
Yeah.
So we're both good at selling. So we teach lawyers how to sell. So we've written it, and our humour comes through.
Oh, that's really good.
But do you know why? It's because we don't take it too seriously.
No.
And
humour again.
Yeah, it is.
Humour. Whatever
we do out there, neither of us take ourselves too seriously.
No, absolutely not.
One, we can't, because...
I mean, look at us.
I know, exactly. And two, it's like it's really dull. Do you find people who take themselves really seriously, they're just dull?
Yeah, a lot of trainers come across as terribly earnest.
They do, and you're like, can you just lighten it? You're not doing brain surgery.
No, literally. I mean, I've said that to clients, to groups of clients. You know, I find this people in professional services that in endeavouring to come across as professional, they all want to come across as terribly earnest.
I know, they can be a
themselves.
person, yeah.
And in fact, actually, they should be. You should be yourself.
Yes.
Because people are buying you, particularly if you sell a service.
Yeah, they assume you're a qualified lawyer.
That's right.
That's a given.
So just be yourself. But I think the thing is they try and be all things to all people.
Yeah.
But if you try and be all things to all people, you are nothing to everybody.
No.
You become bland and anodyne.
Yeah. I was watching a clip from Dolly Parton yesterday.
Fabulous woman.
Absolutely.
Tremendous.
Superb.
Woman.
And she has a lot of self-belief. And she's like, I don't care what you think of me. I know what I'm good at. She puts her talent, she calls it a God-given talent. She's quite religious. And she says, I know what I'm good at. I know what I put out there is good. And if you don't like me, that's fine. That's okay. I don't care. And she said that right at the beginning of her career. So a lot of people go, it's all right for you, you're really rich. But she said it right at the beginning of her career, before she took off.
That's a very bold thing to do.
It is.
One of my favourite phrases is, frankly, your opinion of me is none of my business.
It's true. It's and I think that's why really successful comedians are so successful, because they just are who they are.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Ricky Gervais there, and I remember hearing an interview with Ricky Gervais when they were thinking about doing The Office in America. So I don't know, CBS or somebody like that took it and showed it to, a research audience. And Ricky said, I got a phone call from the guy at CBS. I said, Ricky, I need to be honest with you. He said, the feedback we got for The Office is the worst we've had for any programme. we've ever done.
Oh no.
He said, I've got to tell you. He said, and Ricky went, great. And he said, well, do you not want to change anything? He said, no, keep it exactly as it is.
Right.
Because they'll get it eventually.
Right.
Now that's ballsy.
Yeah, it is. That really is.
That's really ballsy,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
This is
that.
the worst feedback we've
Right.
ever had on a test audience.
God.
Good. Keep it exactly
Yeah.
as it is.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Wow.
That takes some guts,
Yeah, it
doesn't
really does. That's
Yeah.
total. I stand by. This is what I
Yeah.
stand by.
But don't you find those are the most successful people, full stop?
Did we not watch a documentary about Sylvester Stallone who was saying exactly the
Yeah,
same thing?
yeah, we did. And that he was up against it. So many people said, don't do this, don't do that,
Yeah.
do this, do that. And when he did comply, it didn't work. And when he didn't comply, it worked beautifully.
Well, in the end, he wrote Rocky for himself.
Yeah, he did.
Were you,
Yeah.
because you came in halfway through that.
Yes.
Did you see the bit where, because he wasn't getting any parts, he
Right.
wasn't getting known, your face is slanted on one side, which is a birth defect.
Is
his
that
face.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
There's no nerves here.
Oh,
But
okay.
he just had that kind of
All
look
right.
on his face.
Right.
You look like a thug, you've got droopy eyelids, there's just no way, there's not a chance. He wasn't getting anything. And he thought, well, okay, I'm gonna write something for myself then. So he wrote Rocky.
Right.
And people, the studios are going, we like it, but not, did you see this bit? But not you.
Really?
Yeah, but not you in the part.
Right.
And he said he was offered $250,000 to not play the part.
No.
Yes.
And at the time, that would have been
A lot.
huge. Yeah.
And he said it to the interview, he said, even if they'd have offered me $500,000 to not play the part, he said, it's like, no, this is my vehicle and I'm doing it and I've got to live with myself and
Yeah.
I've got to back myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, we're almost back to kind of a little bit of mental health there.
We are. You do have to back yourself.
Because you have to like yourself to be able to back yourself.
You do. Yeah, you do. And we don't mean that in a, oh, I love myself,
No,
I'm amazing.
not a narcissistic,
No.
oh, look at me, I'm taking another selfie on holiday.
No, it much more in a
Deep.
self-respect and love for
Yes,
yourself.
that you are all right as a person, as you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy for me to say. But I think, seriously, I think that's one of the reasons my skin wasn't thick enough for stand-up comedy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you do have to believe in who you are.
Totally.
Definitely.
Whereas training to a corporate, you are not as exposed.
No,
It's
you're
a
not.
big difference when people are paying you to make them laugh.
Yeah, that's huge.
Make us laugh.
Yeah.
Is different from teach us how to present or teach us NLP or
Yeah,
teach us
very
how to be a
different.
coach, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very different.
Because you can hide behind the information.
Oh, yeah, and do you know what? I love doing that. I hate talking about myself. So I've been married twice and I had 2 small weddings because the last thing I want is people to be there to see me. I don't like, so I would never have a big birthday party for me, ever. But I'm really happy to talk to hundreds of people, thousands of people about worky stuff. But if you asked me to talk about me, I'd be like, no, not doing that. Isn't that funny?
Yeah. Yes, because you organised a great party for Sally.
Yeah, I would have hated
It was, but I would have hated it.
I would have hated
I've
it.
said to Sally, do not do.
No,
don't do me a party.
No, I know I wouldn't, because I know you would hate it. And don't do me one
wouldn't
either,
in a
because I
million
hate
years.
it. Yeah, no, I don't like any of that. Isn't that funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like a fuss.
Right, and on that note,
And on that note,
going to end. We hope you enjoyed Nick and Becca's Fireside Chats just as much as we enjoyed recording it. Remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever it is you need to do. And head over now to tricrest.com, TRICRES.com. There's a ton of resources there for business coaches and consultants. Some are free, some you have to pay for. We really look forward to welcoming you to the TriCrest family.